I want to know, give me 3 things that you feel are important to be in this field related to treating and healing people.
Mind, body, and soul.
Okay.
Mind, body, and soul. You have to heal those. You have to heal those. You have to be in touch with them. You constantly have to be feeding them. You can't get into somebody's or soul without healing their mind. You can't. The body, we need each other, you know. They go together.
Hi, and welcome back to the LHP podcast. I'm Marcelo, your host. And once again, today we have a very special guest lined up to talk a little bit about mental health. But before we get into it, I want to make sure that I let you guys know that if you're enjoying the content right now, then consider supporting us by hitting the like button or following us on Instagram or subscribing on YouTube and watching out for us rather on Spotify as well. We can really use your support. And if you're also interested in a sponsorship and you like the content, you want to make sure that you get your products out there, well, we are more than happy to help you out as well. So what we want to do is we want to talk a little bit about mental health today. And today our guest, Miss Jannett Herndon, is going to talk to us a little bit about the importance of being out there and treating things that sometimes are very dangerous to our well-being when it comes to mental health.
Yes.
So without further ado, our guest today is a qualified mental health professional. Yes. She's worked as a case manager as well. And right now she's working as a clinician. So she has different, she has a lot of experience when it comes to mental health. And not only that, I think the thing that I admire most about Jannett is the fact that she's worked with every age group and she's dynamic in her approach and she is very empathetic and she's very kind.
Thank you.
And she does not, I've never seen her, at her worst at all. As a matter of fact, she's really good at what she does. So thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure
Ms.
to
Jannett.
be here. I'm excited.
How's everything going for you today?
It's good. It's good. I'm excited. I'm excited to be on the show and share with the community a little bit of our knowledge or our experiences. Pretty much is what it sums up to, I think.
And this is not the first video you and I record. I remember that you and I recorded a video for a clinic that we both used to work at.
Yes.
And we provided a lot of good information regarding mental health and how we help the community. What's your passion when it comes to mental health? Why I see that you're a big advocate for it.
Yes, I'm a big advocate because I think that if we could just put a seed in one person, that there's hope. Because I think that a lot of us grew up with taboo of having mental health issues is taboo. You're crazy, I think that we could instill a little bit of hope in our children that we're gonna heal, we're gonna be functioning, we're gonna be great, we're gonna be amazing adults. Then we can have secure adults and better people in our for our entire community and our families everywhere. Just one person, that's all it takes,
You talk about a seed and the importance of nurturing that seed. How does that seed come into play when it comes to her taking an interest in mental health? In other words, talk to us a little bit about how you got into the field.
How I got into the field. Well, it was, I was in transition from careers. My undergrad is in business administration, and I was looking for a job, and I was looking for anything at that point. And I knew I wasn't where I had to be. I always knew there was something missing. And I landed my first job at UBH. UBH, I worked UR, utilization review. Oh, and I just got a taste of the psychiatric world. And I knew I needed to, I had to go to school longer to be able to help people the way I wanted to. But once I put my interest there, I was like, I need more of this. And that UBH, we would serve the soldiers, women, children, and geriatrics. So it was a little bit of everything, and that's where I got a lot.
So that's where your love for the field began.
Started, yes.
And you said, I need to get more of this and more experience and more schooling and all that. Yes. Would you say that you learned more in schooling at school or on the field?
On the field, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. On the field, on the job, on the go. And also during that transition, also within myself, also within what was going on in my personal life with my home, my children, and growing in my career. Mm-hmm. Because it was also starting from the bottom. So my whole life transition, which is what I hope we can talk about today, which is healing. Absolutely.
Healing. That can definitely be one of the main things that we talk about. They say that a lot of people that are in the mental health field get into the mental health field because they have, things that they're trying to deal with themselves. Mm-hmm. I have different opinions on that. I have different thoughts about that. What do you think about that whole thing?
I think so. I agree with that. Also, like you, I have different perspectives of it, but I do think a part of us may be wounded. So, which is where our empathy comes in. Like, I may have experienced something similar to that. Therefore, I'm very empathetic towards children. Or I have an ill grandmother that has dementia and shows symptoms of psychosis. Therefore, I could be empathetic or different. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is, I think a lot of clients may hit home a little bit for us, which is where makes our job easier.
Makes it a little easier, and that's where you grow your passion, I would imagine.
I think so, yeah.
So what's been the thing that you feel that has been the most difficult being in this field as of right now? You're quite new. Well, I'm not going to say you're new. How many years have you been in the field now?
10 years.
10 years.
10 years.
That's a long time. Yes. It flies by so quick.
It does.
What would you say has been the most difficult thing right now?
The most difficult thing, I think, has been, so as I mentioned earlier, that we're transitioning through our personal lives, our career, going to school as well as working with clients. I think when I was doing my own healing and working with clients that are trying to heal, because our clients we're all healing, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's the most thing, like on days where I was really broken and just wanted to or needed to cry or something. And then I have somebody needing more of me. I think that was the most difficult part.
So through sometimes going through difficult situations yourself and being able to go to work, clocking in and seeing who you have on your agenda that you need to see, those 3 clients, that maybe one suffers from maybe depression, the other from general anxiety disorder, the other one from, maybe bipolar disorder. Mm-hmm. So you going into work and treating them and being able to spend time with them helped you pretty much kind of level out a lot of things that were going on in your life. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, absolutely. Have you ever heard of the saying, I am you, I heal through you. The beauty in me is the beauty in you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm a big fan of that because I think that many times people are broke, like they're going through something, right? And then so they share it with you and you're like, well, maybe what I'm going through is not as bad, or you can change the lens that you see it in. And it helps. I think it helps our personal healing. So I do think that we all need each other. need each other. We feed off each other's energy. Of course, we carry our own, but I do think that we do feed off each other.
Yeah. I totally agree with you on that, because as a marriage coach, sometimes when I see that there are couples that are having some very serious issues with communication or things of that nature, I always reflect on my own relationship also. And I got to check myself too. I have to be able to say, hey, well, look, there's a couple of things that are deficient in your relationship, and you're talking to, this couple over here, then, you need to make sure that you get your stuff straight, and you need to make sure that you're aligned so that you're able to give them the best information possible. Right.
Yes.
Would you say it's something similar to what you're saying right now?
Yes, very similar. Very similar, yes.
Well, that's cool. And your experience on the field, I think I want to really tap into that, because you want to talk about healing.
Yeah.
So I'd like to kind of get your experiences out on the field. What's that been like for you? Because I know now you're in a clinic, now you're pretty much on a one-to-one, let's go ahead and say, right? But before, when you were out seeing different clients, how was that for you?
Okay, so being out is also it's I would say is a gift, because people allow you in their space, their privacy, their home. When somebody goes and sees us in our office, we don't know what their home is like. Are they hoarding?
Yeah.
Are they stashing emotions? Are they cleaning? Are they neat freaks? Are they OCD? What are they hiding inside? We don't see that.
Yeah.
We only see the personality, the person they bring to our couch, right? But when you go in their home, you get to see they were drinking last night. What were they doing? And so they don't get to put a filter on what is happening.
Yeah.
So my time in the field, I'm grateful for that. I don't think that I would have the knowledge, which I'm not done growing. We always have room to grow and learn every day, right? I would not know or be where I'm at if it wasn't for the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot for the field. It was exhausting. It was many memories, many stories, but
it's the sneak peek into somebody's life, right?
Absolutely.
Being able to go to their house, like you said, some very good points.
Yes.
Going to their house and seeing if they're hoarding things.
Yes.
Or their behaviors, or
yes.
taking a good look around the environment and seeing what's, what it is that you can do to help the client out. Yes. Yeah, that's definitely a big thing right there.
Yes.
So your biggest, your most difficult thing that you've seen is being out on the field then.
Yeah, being on the field is hard. And and going back to what's going on with me, where am I at mentally that day? And then going to the house, which you have experience as well, is you go to somebody that's in full psychosis. The police in their mind is chasing them. They're out, the FBI.
Now, for those that are kind of listening right now, I'd like for you to explain some of that terminology when they're in psychosis, for example.
Yeah, they're having a psychotic episode, either, of course, delusions. It could be paranoid. It could be hearing voices. Are the voices good? Are they good or bad? Were they telling you kill yourself, kill somebody? It could be many things. But I have several memories. One in particular, which I think you saw that person too as well, that their mind is just full of paranoid psychosis. And we go to their house and they think that the FBI is tapping their house. So they have a room full of wires, and all you see is like, oh my God, this is an explosion about to happen. And then we have our own stuff going on in our mind, but you have to let go of that and help them. Right? You have to get them through that, because we're professionals.
Yes. And you're talking about a very intricate case. Let's go ahead and say a very difficult case.
Very difficult case.
How did you manage situations like that in your career? I mean, I can only imagine you getting into your car in the morning after getting your kids ready to go to school.
Right.
And after taking care of whatever it is that you need to take, and then getting into your car and then driving to a client's house that you're going to have a challenge with as far as treatment is concerned.
Yeah.
How do you approach the day?
Okay. Well, first of all, my day starts off before everybody else's. I like to get up at 5 a.m, do some spinning, some kickboxing, something to first care for me, a moment where I can detach. That's how I start my day, with myself, taking care of myself. Then I can attend to everybody else, right? I de-stress, take my kids to school, whatever happens. But then that way I can show up for the client, but be present. You know, I left my stuff at the gym. I left my kids at school. Now I could be present and let go of whatever I have going on.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can show up.
That's the best way you could show up. And,
Yes.
and pretty much, is it a ritual that you follow? Is that what you do all the time?
I am a very, very routineful person. So pretty much we could call it a ritual.
Cool. So then
Yeah,
now you get into your car and you're driving to the client's house,
Yeah.
and then you're having the symptomology that you know that you're gonna have to deal with.
Yes.
What give us a little sneak peek at what you have in your toolbox when it comes to working with clients.
In my toolbox, I mean, first, empathy, love for what you do. You can't leave your house without that. You can't leave your house without the love, the passion for what you do. I mean, we're not going to be rich. Let's face it, right?
The mental health fields is not going to make you a millionaire.
It's not, but we can change somebody's life. And maybe they will be. Maybe they'll remember us. I don't know, right?
In a sense, that makes you somewhat of a millionaire inside.
Yes, it's inside. It's it's instant gratification, right? Yes. But you can't leave your house without that, with the love for what you do.
Yeah.
Passion.
Yeah, passion. I like what you're. I like those words that you're mentioning right now. Give me more of that. I want to know. Give me 3 things that you feel are important to be in this field related to treating and healing people.
Mind, body, and soul.
Okay.
Mind, body, and soul. You have to heal those. You have to heal those. You have to be in touch with them. You constantly have to be feeding them. Constantly have to be feeding them. You can't get into somebody's or soul without healing their mind. You can't. The body. We need each other. You know. They go together. They collaborate. In my.
Most definitely.
Yes.
Most definitely. So, apart from your routine and getting up and having, the ritual that you have, what other tools do you use for your mental health to feel good about yourself, to feel ready about being out on the field? Do you rely on friends, for example?
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I have a great group of friends. I've tried to keep myself around people that are on the same journey. We understand each other. You know, how many times have I not gone to your office and like, I need to check in, friend, and we just feed off each other. And also surrounding myself with people that, perhaps we don't have the same vision, same goals, but we're all aiming for something, doing something that we're passionate about. And also, I think that, doing self-work, a lot of internal work, because our friends start changing when we do our self-work, because we attract what we are, we attract what we feel. And, your friends start changing. They start getting more beautiful. I mean, but it's not more beautiful because they're more physically beautiful, but more beautiful because they're more healed. You surround yourself with people that are more healed, more full.
Have you had a chance, or have you had an incident where you feel that you had to change friends because you thought maybe that wasn't an environment that you needed to put yourself through?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
How's that working out for you? Elaborate a little bit more on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that we outgrow relationships, and that's part of healing. We have to let go of the version of ourselves that allowed us to survive. Once you have to forgive that person. You have to forgive those people that they were not good for you. And once you start healing, they even go away by themselves. And that version of you that permitted, you're like, that's not me anymore. I have boundaries. I have standards.
Okay.
I have self-love, and you teach them. We're lessons. We give them something, they give us something, and we move forward. So those relationships go by themselves. We outgrow people sometimes. or they outgrow us. And that's fair. That's okay to say, you know, that's okay to accept. We're not for everybody and not everybody's for us.
That is true. Thank you for bringing that up also.
Yeah.
Why is it important for people to set boundaries?
Boundaries are good for ourselves and for people. I care about you so much that I have to set this boundary, because if I don't, you can hurt yourself, or I can hurt myself allowing you to take advantage of me, or, you know, it's so good. It's because we have to have personal standards. What do we want? What do I want for myself? And if we don't set that boundary, we could let somebody influence their goal or their idea of what they want from us. And we have to stay true to ourselves.
Do you think that's difficult to do?
Very difficult.
Do you think people get mad when
Yes.
you set boundaries?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why so?
Because people do not like to hear the word no. They do not like to hear the word no. You know I'm pretty sure you've heard this saying, tell someone no and you know what age they are or where they're stuck at.
I haven't heard that one yet.
You haven't heard that one? Well, I will tell you.
Yeah, tell me, please.
Yeah, I will tell you. So there's this, I read it somewhere. I don't know. I can't remember right now, but you tell somebody no, and you tell an adult no, and they'll have a fit. And why? Because some people are stuck emotionally, and you can kind of see what age they're stuck at. Are they having, you know, how many...
How so? Mention that a little bit. What age? What do you mean by what age they're stuck at?
Okay, so I personally have known grown adults that you say no, and they have adult fits, almost kicking and screaming, you know. But for a simple no, or setting a boundary, because we're talking about boundaries, right? And that's why I'm bringing up the word no, because boundaries sometimes have a stop, you know, like a stop sign. You can't cross me this way, or that's not gonna work for me. And so sometimes people do not accept your boundary and do not accept your no, because they're not okay with themselves, or they're not okay with not being able to push you over your boundary. And that's why it's important to know where people are at emotionally, and for healed people to be around healed people. And we usually are. Once you start, we're magnets, you know, we're magnets. We attract what we are. We attract what we feel.
We can be contagious, for sure.
Very contagious. And once wounded people, you know, usually stick together and have their little groups.
Yeah. Yes. I do agree with you on that. And I do agree that boundaries need to be in place. Do you think it's a cultural thing sometimes that we're not taught to set boundaries?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Us here in the borderland, so many cultural things that were instilled in us that having to break very much. So I'll give you a little example. My mom tells me, ¿para qué tanta escuela? And I'm like, Mother, I will show you one day why, you know. But that's one thing where I had to set a boundary, like, Mother, you know, that's a boundary even there, right there, you know. That's so, you know, we are told what to do.
And you're going light there. You're going light when you're saying ¿para qué tanta escuela?
Yeah.
She probably said it in a different tone, maybe,
yes.
or maybe scolded you in a different way, where you learned that you needed to put your foot down, right?
Yes. And that's setting a boundary. And back to boundaries, we have to sometimes set them within ourselves, within our own home, within our own families.
That's the hardest part.
That is the hardest part, because you constantly have to be reminding people, like, I'm not okay with this. Like, this is my new standard. And it's part of healing, because we reinvent ourselves when we heal. We're not changing our personalities. We're just we're reinventing ourselves. Let's clarify that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
But it is quite difficult.
Yes, because hazle caso a tu papá y lo que diga tu esposo, or, you know, or.
So when it comes to raising children, for example.
Yes. I
know that for some folks that are watching right now, they have teenagers at home.
Yes.
You know how difficult that can be.
Oh my God, yes.
How would you tackle a difficult teenager?
Wow, that's a good question. 'Cause I have a
Yes.
Yes.
This is all mental health. How would you
Right?
tackle
I
a
have a
difficult teenager? There's so many people that are watching us right now that are
Yeah.
saying, please let me have
Please
that
don't.
information.
I know. I have a difficult teenager at home. I do. He's in full prime.
How old is he?
He's 13.
13. Oof.
I keep him busy.
What grade?
8th grade.
Oh, my Lord.
I keep him busy. So he goes to school all day, then plays football after school, and then City League. So he's busy till 8 p.m. That's how I'm tackling that one first, right?
Yeah.
Keep him busy.
Use a metaphor.
Yes. And I'm going to share that with you. I remember before we didn't hear so much about mental health issues and depression and this and that. People were so active and aggressively active, like the other day I was watching, my partner sent me some videos on workouts from the 80s. It was Rocky and motivational and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Their videos are intense. Their workouts are brutal, right?
Yeah, I saw that documentary on Arnold not too long ago. Yeah, he was putting himself through some stuff.
Yes, they were brutal. And so that's one way I think of tackling the problem with teenagers. And even within ourselves, I mentioned I work out before I start my day. And I'm trying to instill that in my children, get your body going. Healthy body, mind, mind and soul. So I keep him busy. That's one thing. And as far as, the personality, the arguments, I try to go down to 13. What would I want if I was 13 years old?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So going to, is an oppositional type of thing? Do you see him more aggressive towards you? Do you see that his what kind of tips would you give a parent who's struggling with a child who's having a difficult time with simple commands at home?
I think communication, maybe finding a way to we're a family, we're a team, letting them know we're on each other's team. We're on each other's team. I'm on your side. We're going to win. But it takes the whole team to move forward, You do this, I do that. Of course, we're not setting gender roles, where we all help out. We all do dishes. We all do this. I try to take my kids on dates, too, individually. It's a little bit hard because I have 4 of them, but...
I like that.
Yeah, dates.
Go into that a little bit.
Yeah, dates.
Yes.
Dates are important. Dates are never... I love dates. They're never boring. I love dressing up and going on dates. And I want my kids to feel the same thing. Feel important, feel just time for you, just time for us to talk. I'll take them out to eat or an ice cream or shave ice, anything. And I like to do that individually for each one of my kids. Time just for each one. And they're different ages, so that's a little bit hard. My teenager likes to joke around and maybe show me music. He's not so intense about the conversation anymore, but the little ones do get into oh, this is nice, mommy. I love you. It's cute. They're more, but as long as they know they have me, that nothing replaces me, their time with me.
Yeah. And in this case, as far as healthy relationships are concerned, what kind of advice do you give them, and what kind of education regarding healthy relationships when it comes to respect and trust and all that? What kind of things do you talk to your 13-year-old about? Because let's talk a little bit about that. Yes. Is it hard right now for teenagers to have, or they get curious about the opposite sex?
Yes.
They want to know about, they get curious about dating and relationships and boyfriends and girlfriends and things that come with that.
Yeah. Yes, very. That was hard for me.
A handful of stuff. Right?
A handful of stuff. Yes. When my little boy he told me, I've always been really open with my kids. I check in with them, even where I'm at. A lot of people might disagree with this. They'll be like, I know kids don't need to know adult problems, and I don't share personal problems, but I'm very open. Guys, I'm not feeling all there today. I'm feeling a little sad. I try to normalize our emotions. My emotions, I want to know where theirs are at too, and so they can call out what they're feeling and not look for an alternative. If you're angry, go hit the punching bag. It's okay to hit something, because let's face it, let's be honest. At that age, you want to hit something. Even at me, I love hitting the punching bag.
Oh, okay. So you guys
very relieving. Okay, we have a punching bag at home. Yeah, just to clarify that. And so I normalize that. There's a safe place for everything. So I do try to normalize that. When he came down, going back to when he came to me that he was going to go through puberty, I'm a mom. I can only be a mom. I can't be a dad. I will never.
You had that conversation?
I bought him a book.
You bought him a book. And that's okay.
And that's okay. I just didn't know what to do. Mm-hmm. And I try to normalize speaking about condoms. I do. Mm-hmm. Try to make it as normal as possible because it should be normal. It should be something we're all talking about to our kids about.
Was that difficult for you to do?
So because since I told you I'm very open with my kids. Mm-hmm. I'm very open about like where I'm at emotionally. Mm-hmm. So, I'll make a joke about it. I'll be like, I'm buy condoms because I ain't taking care of babies, Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll try to normalize it. And I mean it. I don't want to get babies. I want to.
No.
I want them to enjoy their life. Absolutely. I want to enjoy mine.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah,
there's a time and a place for everything.
Yes.
Right. So that's important.
Yeah. So that's what I try to do with them. I try to let's talk openly about what we're feeling, and nothing can be brought to the table. There isn't anything that's out of subject.
The community's having serious issues right now with substance abuse, alcohol and drugs, and not prescription medications, I want to say. Okay. Have you had to deal with any of that with your clients in the past?
Yes. I did substance abuse counseling for a while. I did. I would do the counseling for the frequent offenders. Mm-hmm. The frequent offender program, and the same thing. So many wounded people. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't talk about their substance use. What did it matter? Mm-hmm. What did it matter? How was I going to help them? Oh, tell me how many beers you had last night. Are you hungover? No. And tell me where you're hurt. Tell me where you're wounded. Mm-hmm. Because if you're drinking out of a codependence, out of a broken heart, then how can I help you? Mm-hmm. So, let's dig a little. Yeah. Why are we drinking? Where'd you learn that? Mm-hmm. What are you coping? If this is a coping skill, can we replace it?
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what it is that I was interested in being able to kind of talk to you about with giving that information to a parent. Let's go ahead and say that a parent has a child who is who's drinking a lot or maybe smoking a lot of marijuana. Yeah. How would you go about taking a session with not only the person, your client, but also with the parent also? Yeah,
absolutely. With the parent. Stop taking me the child. Take me the parent. How many times do we not see that?
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. The child's in session, but we need to have the session with the parent. Mm-hmm. Where are we learning our habits?
Who sets the examples?
Who sets the examples? What are we repeating? What are we covering? Who are we covering for? What are, what is really going on? Sometimes we're not really communicating. It's a learned habit, or they have access to it.
But let's go ahead and say that they already have that bad habit. The kid. And the parent, the parent, the kid. Yeah. And the parent recognizes that it may have or may have not come from him. But what steps do you take to healing? How do you help that parent?
Well, first of all, I would have separate sessions, one the child, one the parent, because everybody has different stories. I would have one with the parent and, talk about what's going on with them. Mm-hmm. What's going on with you? Are you present? Mm-hmm. Are you present? Are you listening to your child? What are they getting from you? How much time are you making for them? How are your relationships going on? What are they seeing? And then, of course, one with the child. What are you feeling? What do you need from your parent? Most of them were wounded children. Mm-hmm. We're all wounded children. And that's where our healing begins.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
But also, like you said, all right, we talk about the fact that there's a lot of distractions. And maybe that's why I'm not present. Yeah. And one of the major distractions right now for a lot of people is the use of technology. Yeah. Where we're not present because we don't want to be bothered. We get everybody say, a device, and they go out and they do their thing, and they get lost in their own little worlds, and so does mom and dad. And but what damage does that do to a child?
It separates. It separates. And I think it's okay. Everything is okay with moderation, you know? All right, we're going to sit down and eat, all of us together. But together, be present. And then after that, we can have our time to zone out. Unwind, whatever it is. But we have to call things for what they really are, you know? We can't use devices to bond because it only separates.
Yeah.
It only separates.
So how would you, as far as like technology is concerned and teenagers are concerned, what kind of advice would you give a parent when it came to content that they're consuming? What to consume and what not to consume? Or even, would you even get into the subject?
Yeah, absolutely. I think though it's uncomfortable, right? It's almost like talking about sex.
Yeah,
with a kid.
Pretty
it's
much
uncomfortable. But actually, invest your time. What is your kid looking at? What are you posting? What are you looking at? Are they looking at what you're posting? You know? So we have to invest a little bit of time for everything. When it comes to kids, they need our time. Yeah. Time. Kids understand love as time.
Yeah, that's how they spell time, right?
That's how they spell time.
You would think it would be spelled Time,
right?
But it's actually spelled. Actually,
it is
the other way around.
Yeah,
you know, love is spelled with time. Absolutely, the amount of time that you spend with your child, and being able to be present and in the most important times in their life, also. And I'm so happy that you talked about the fact that, you know, you have to be very involved in a growing mind, because there's a lot of things that could take place that can really impact your child's mindset and growth.
Yeah.
So this is definitely something that I really wanted to touch upon, and I'm thankful that you gave this information out so that parents are listening. When you have a child that has mental health concerns, and that you feel that something's going on, what are your recommendations? Do you take them to the clinic, or how would you tackle that?
Well, first of all, mental health symptoms are not mental health disorders. Having a symptom is not a disorder. Having a symptom doesn't mean that your child needs to be hospitalized. The same with us. Just because I'm broken right now and I'm having symptoms of depression because I went through a bad divorce or grief, I lost a loved one, I lost my job, doesn't mean that we need to go get diagnosed and we need to get on medication or we need to be hospitalized, right? Yeah. So maybe our child could be demonstrating just symptoms of anxiety, symptoms of depression, or symptoms of being confused. Growing up right now is very, very difficult time. So of course our kids are going to show symptoms, but I do think that we have to evaluate them ourselves. We should know our people. We should know our kids. We should know our home. You know, that's my child. What's going on? You know, once it's out of our hands, then seek a professional. But I think first we have to try everything ourselves. Like I said, dates, communication, going down to them, you know, to their age. And, you know, if that's not working, of course, then seek us, reach out to us, you know, reach out to a clinic, go to counseling, you know, sometimes psychiatry. I mean, we're professionals and we're here to help, but I do think that it starts at home.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
But I can't continue this conversation without asking you about a success story. I think those are always good to hear.
Oh, yes. Always success stories. Oh, success.
And I'm sure you have many of those.
I have many, but
please tell me
there's
you have
one,
many of those.
There's one that pops out. Okay. So I'm going to bring this one up because this is a crisis in our community right now. I live in the northeast side of town, and we have an area that looks like it's infested by zombies, right?
We do?
Yeah, we do. It's in the
I had no idea.
Yeah, I'll walk you there anytime.
Okay.
They're always, you know, they walk around crossing the street, and it's a lot of people on meth and crack and are in that area. So, you know, and doing substance abuse. One of the cases that we see that always, that the hope is always lower, spice, meth, synthetic drugs, they always tap into your brain and sometimes don't leave you well. I worked with a client for months, and she was recovering. She was homeless. She was recovering. I helped her get into a shelter. She lived at the women's shelter in downtown. And through that process, she lost her mom. And I thought I was going to lose her. I was like, she's going to fall back into meth. She had already lost her kids, her home, everything. And through, after months of work, I helped her during that time when I helped her get in the shelter. The requirement was that you have to be at least on the waiting list to get into housing, things like that. She had to, so she was getting psychiatric help, counseling, and then I was doing her case management.
So you were walking her.
I was walking her, through all this and experiencing this. She had lost her kids, lost her mom, and I would see her more often than needed, to make sure she was okay. I did not want her to relapse, after everything, So a few months ago, I was at Walmart. I get a tap on my window. Oh my God. My heart dropped. Oh, even tears me up. It was her. She had a car. She got a job. She had her apartment. She was doing so well. And she's like, I'm so happy I ran into you. She's like, I've been wanting to tell you I've been drug-free. I never relapsed. And I was like, and she's like, I just wanted to thank you. And I love it. I love it because there is hope. There is hope. There is hope. And I mean, meth. There's very few stories and I'll always take that with me.
I can't help but to notice that you did become a little emotional when you talked about that.
I love that. Yeah. I love stories like that.
So we're talking about how we're not going to become millionaires with this profession, but what you just talked about right now with that story, you said something that was priceless. You said something that's worth a lot. Yeah. So I'm happy that you brought that up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love that. Keeps me going. I'm like, if I made an impact in one person's life. If I could just do it on another one and another one. And that's why we're here at the end of the day. Well, that's where at least I am, Yeah. Just that seed,
Yes, definitely. Because even though sometimes we wake up in the morning and we say to ourselves, what am I doing? Yeah. Is this person really going to change? Right. Yeah, is this person really going to listen to what I have to say when it comes to taking his medication and going to meetings and staying off of or staying away from certain people that are going to make them maybe relapse? Yes. And then all of a sudden you get that tap on your window.
On the window.
And then you see this person that you thought, you may have had doubts. I don't know.
I had doubts that she was going to be okay. No, she was wearing her school uniform, her work uniform, her badge. She showed me her car. Beautiful. I was like, I felt like I made it, I was like, she made it, but I felt like I was the one winning,
Yes. Yeah. Now, this is a constant reminder for all those that are in this field that sometimes feel a little helpless at times when you wake up in the morning and say, am I in the right place? Well, you wouldn't be in this place if there's something that didn't trigger you to get into this field. So you're absolutely in the right place for sure. Absolutely. So thank you for that. Sure. Thank you for sharing.
And I don't ever doubt that. I don't ever doubt that. I know that I'm where I need to be. And I do think that each one of my clients has a meaning. There's something they're going to teach me, and hopefully there's something I can teach them. But if not, I'll take my lesson. Yeah. There's never a doubt in my mind.
Cool. Thank you for that. What would you like more to see in this field? Or to see more of?
More people speaking out. More people speaking out about even themselves. Like, I'm broken. I'm healing. I'm working on myself. And we're going to do it together. Or, more people reaching out. Like, more people being real instead of like everything's rainbows and unicorns on social media. Like, no, let's post real stuff. Like, we're out there
Yes.
all trying to make it. You know, we're all surviving. We're all healing. I would love to see that.
Yes, yes. I know that prior to coming on to the show, you said, I do want to talk about healing. I think it's so important. I don't think we talk about it a lot. So this podcast is dedicated towards being able to disseminate as much information on mental health, on lifestyle, of course, and being able to work on yourself and feeling good about yourself. So I'm happy that you brought that, because with healing comes, you got to heal to be able to heal others, right?
Yeah, you have to heal. You have to start off with you can start wherever you want, but there's always an order. You can heal. Let's start with the child. Let's heal that broken child, you know? Write them a story or do the empty chair, you know? Like, hey, you're going to turn out okay. You're going to be handsome. All the girls are going to like you, you know?
Yeah.
That little child. And then go to the teenager. Like, I know you were confused. I know you were confused. I know that you're insecure about yourself, but God, you're going to be beautiful, you know? And then go to the adult. You know, what's bothered you in adulthood? What do you want to change? What do you want to recreate? What boundaries do you want to set?
That's cool.
You know, what love? How do you love? How are your relationships? How do you love? Are you anxious attachment? Are you codependent? Once you understand that, then you can come to people in a healed version. Like, I have no shame in saying this, but I go to my partner and I tell him, you know, now I can come in a healed way. Hey, you know, I have an anxious attachment style, but I can come to him healed and be like, if I'm being needy, let me know. As before, it would break me down, like, oh, you don't love me, you don't pay attention to me, or you don't like me, you know? And now it's coming to people in a different way. You know, I have a codependency. I might go to drinking because that's what I do, or, you know, I go from couple to couple, or because that's my attachment style. How do you love? It doesn't have to be romantic relationships. It could be any type of relationship. Know your loving styles. That way you can come in a healed version, the healed version of yourself. Yeah. To those. Show up in a different.
Yeah. Yeah. You're definitely going to leave a lot of people thinking about this.
Well, they can reach out and we could do another one.
And that's
Let
what
us
I wanted.
know what you want, you know?
My next thing was to tell you, how do people get a hold of you if they wanted to work with you?
My Instagram or my Facebook. I try to respond. TikTok. It's Herndon Jannett. Or my Facebook is Jannett Cuevas. My Instagram is Hern Jannett. They can reach out, or they can reach you through. They can reach me
through me.
Yeah. You through me. And we can talk about speak about anything that anybody's interested in.
That's good. I'm glad that you're putting that plug in, because you're very easy to talk to. So if somebody out there watching this is in dire need to speak to somebody, even if it's just lending an ear, Jannett is the person to do that for sure.
Yes, and I will proudly share that I do have people reach out through me, a lot more in Facebook, on Messenger, and I'll make time. They'll reach to me when they're broken and something's happening, and I'll listen to them. We'll find time. There's time for everything.
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
Thank you for
my
that.
friend. Of course.
Now, before we wrap up,
yes,
give us something as far as motivating our community right now. Let us know. I mean, share your thoughts about, what we can do to be better people.
Better people. Heal. Mind, body, and soul. We can't be walking around wounded. Hurt people. And we have to heal. We have to. Hurt people. Let's stop that. Let's stop that trend. Let's stop that. Let's stop toxic relationships, toxic families. And that's the way we stop it, by healing, doing personal work, loving yourself. Because once you do personal work, it's almost immediate. You love yourself. You set boundaries. You set standards.
Great.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty much a summary of what we just talked about.
A summary of what we talked about, just all wrapped up.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jannett. We appreciate your time. Thank you for being with us today. And Thank you guys for watching this week's episode of the LHP podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and watch us on Spotify. Hit the like and follow buttons. We'll see you next week.